Okay. All right, so we're still solving the quadratic formula. These ones are going to be more, well, not more difficult, just different, because we're not going to have real solutions this time. Spoilers. Process starts out the same way. So we take our equation, we need everything to be on the left-hand side, so something equals 0. So if I see minus 4x all by itself, I know I need to add 4x to both sides. Make sure you put this in order. Don't just put the 4x at the very end. So 6x squared plus 4x plus 9 equals 0. This is a 4, I promise. Okay, and then same as yesterday, we're going to start with the discriminant part. So the b squared minus 4ac. We want to work that out first. So b is 4. So 4 squared minus 4 times a is 6, and c is 9. So 4 squared is 16, minus 4 times 6 times 9 is, according to my calculator, 216. And then when we subtract these, we get negative 200. Okay, so this is how we know our answer is going to, we're not going to have real answers. We're going to have imaginary answers because now we have to take the square root of negative 200, which does not exist, right? There's no number you can multiply by itself that will give you a negative 200. So what we do is we take out the part we can't do. We're going to take out the square root of negative 1, and we're going to say that's times the square root of 200. Okay. Same time I have a square root, remember you can factor it out. You can split it into 2 factors, and it's still equivalent. The square root of 200 we can do, sort of. And then the square root of negative 1 has a special name. So square root of negative 1 is I. The letter I is always represented. Anytime you see the variable I in math, you say, okay, that's the square root of negative 1. I for imaginary. Okay? So we can say that we have the square root of negative 200 is equal to I times the square root of 200. Okay? And now what we need to do is we need to simplify this as much as we can. That's why we skipped to number 4, because the first 3 you don't have to worry about this too much. So I need to think, what perfect square can I take out of 200? And hopefully you think to yourself, well, the square root of 200 is the same as the square root of 100 times the square root of 2. And then the square root of 100 is just 10. So we have 10 times the square root of 2, and then we bring this I down. So it's I times 10 times the square root of 2. Or to rewrite this, always put the number first and then I, and the square root of 2. So that is all that work, right? All that work doesn't actually answer the question. That just gives us this part right here. Okay, I'll tell you that's a majority of the work. If you got this far, you're good. You're probably going to get this right. So all we need to do now is we need to put it back into the, that's still right. We need to put this back into the whole formula now. So negative b, so b is 4, so it's going to be negative 4 plus or minus, and we said everything in red here was 10I square root of 2 divided by 2 times a, and let's just do that right together. 2 times 6 is 12. Okay? With me so far? So I just took my answer here. I put it in with the square root of b squared minus 4ac, negative b to the left, and then 2 times a on the bottom. Okay? Last thing we need to do just to clean this up is we want to simplify our fraction as best we can. We're not going to split this into 2 separate equations because we're not going to get good answers. We can't really work too much with 10I square root of 2. So all I want to do is we just want to simplify this down. So we think, what can I simplify 4 and 12 by? And we can also divide 10 and 12 by. We're going to say, what common factor do 4, 10, and 12 all have, which is 2. So I'm going to divide 4, 10, and 12 all by 2, and that's going to give me negative 2 plus or minus 10 divided by 2 is 5i square root of 2. Notice we don't mess with that square root. Okay, once you get this far, whatever that square root is, leave it alone. It's not going to change again. Can't do anything with that. Leave it alone. Divided by 12 divided by 2 is 6. So this would be our answer. Or if you're doing this on Canvas, it does split them up, so it would be -2 plus 5i square root of 2 over 6, comma, -2 minus 5i square root of 2 over 6. But to me, this doesn't make sense to write the whole thing out because it's just the same equation, just with a plus and a minus. The reason why we did them separately yesterday was because they eventually worked out to a nice number. But with these ones here, these numbers are terrible, right? Like, why did we even do this? Just the audacity of saying that we can, because it's the assignment. But that's it. So take your time. Keep in mind on all these today, you know you're going to get a negative number. So you're going to need to factor out that square root of -1 and call it I. Then you need to simplify or take your square root. Some of these you can just take the square root and then the square root goes away. But you want to simplify it as best you can. Okay, we want to simplify this right-hand side as best we can. Put it into our quadratic formula, and then simplify your fraction as much as possible. Okay, this is it's a whole lot of good math work to do. If someone sees what you're doing, they'll be like super impressed. They'll think you're like the smartest kid that ever existed. All right, so good luck. If you need help, let me know.